Howdy, Immortalium here. Today I'm reviewing Black Lagoon. Now, for anyone who is unaware of Black Lagoon is basically a story about piracy in the around Thailand today, really, that's the best way to describe it. Our lead character is Rokuro Okajima, or Rock, as he's given the nickname of. That is the guy over here. And he started work at a Japanese business company, but ended up getting kidnapped by pirates. He kind of gets Stockholm Syndrome and ends up actually joining the Black Lagoon company, or the Lagoon Company, which is the company of pirates that kidnapped him, and giving up his old job. And from there on out, it's basically the story of what the Lagoon Company encounters on each job that they get. The Lagoon Company is made up of several other people, including Dutch and Benny, but our main focus is on Revi. Now, Revi is the sole female member of the crew and the most famous. A good picture of her would be this one here. When I say most famous, I mean among the anime community. She is like, even before I watched this series, I knew who Revi was. So to say that I was disappointed by her character at first would be an accurate description. At first, she seemed like a kind of a bland character, just, you know, filthy-mouthed, completely angry. But as time went on, I steadily got sympathy for her, due to, you know, kind of realizing how she had grown up, etc., etc. I really liked the other two characters in Lagoon Company, as well as Rock, but I felt that Dutch and Benny were kinda underdeveloped. Just, you know, there wasn't any real stories dealing with them, and while they were, you know, appealing characters, they were underdeveloped. Rock, on the other hand, is very well developed throughout the series. Basically, the majority of the series is basically him kind of realizing what kind of jobs he's gotten into, which basically ends up in the climax of the series kind of being the resolution of his kind of development arc, that he finally realizes what his purpose in life is. But to say that that's the only real good thing about the ending is kind of true. The ending of this series is, in my opinion, anticlimactic, and the fact that it's a complete development and a resolution for Rock is its only saving grace. Now, I have not seen Roberta's Blood Trail, so I don't know how that impacts on, you know, is that a continuation of this series or not? I don't know, but from an ending perspective, this series was quite lackluster. However, the stories themselves are quite fascinating, dealing with neo-Nazis, you know, child pornographers, mafia, cartel, etc., etc. Triad. It was always interesting, and all, you know, the stories always kept me, you know, hooked from beginning to end. So very well developed, and they always kind of worked themselves well into kind of gaining my sympathy for Revi's character and continuing to develop Rock's character. Now, Black Lagoon is well known for its action, you know, enormous guns blasting the hell out of everyone. It's true to a certain extent. In the first season, I think that it's kind of less actiony as it's made out to be. With a lot of episodes kind of the action being kind of a climax for the arc, and the rest of the episodes being more about, you know, the characters developing, discussing the situation, etc., etc. But in second season, there are a lot of episodes which are like practically non-stop action. So I don't know what happened between season 1 and 2, whether they got a bigger animation budget, or maybe that was how the story was dealt with in the manga. I don't know, but I just noticed that the amount of action in season 2 is much higher than the amount of action in season 1. The studio responsible for the animation in Black Lagoon was Studio Madhouse. Now, Studio Madhouse is one of the great anime companies in Japan. responsible for animating a lot of series such as Death Note, Claymore, Redline, Summer Wars, Girl Up Through Time, etc, etc. They've animated a lot, and they are very well known for being very high quality. And in this regard, Black Lagoon does not disappoint. There's lots of fluidity to the animation sequences, the character designs themselves are very appealing, and there's also a surprisingly strong use of colour in this series. The basic premise of the series kind of calls for a more drab, realistic colour tone, but the series uses a lot of colour in it, which, you know, surprised me, considering the content. So, you know, I was very, very impressed with the animation from Studio Madhouse. So that calls for you getting the Blu-rays on this. The transfer from Kaze is very, very good. It's lots of strong details, crisp imagery. The Blu-ray transfer is fantastic, as well as the audio. The audio has a lot of kind of bombastic booms and explosions, and it's a great, you know, thing from a technical perspective in that regard. Now, faults with Kaze's treatment of this series on Blu-ray would be the fact that there are no extras whatsoever. Not even textless opening and ending credits, which, you know, is quite surprising. You know, not too many people are, you know, into those, but, you know, it does turn eyes when it's not there, because you're kind of wondering, oh, you know, if they don't have that, you know, that's kind of sad. Also, the menu system implemented in this was quite awkward. I found that I was unable to access the main menu from the episodes themselves, and I had to actually fast forward throughout the entire episode in order to get back to the main menu. I could open up a pop-up menu, but the pop-up menu was even more awkward to navigate than the main menu. So from that perspective, it's problematic. But from a picture and audio perspective, these Blu-rays are excellent. Just keep an eye on the menu and the fact that there's no extras. Now, another thing that Black Lagoon is well known for is its dub. I did not watch this in Japanese, I watched this in English, and the reason for that is a lot of people online agree that the dub is superior. And what are my opinions on this? Well, first of all, I was quite pleasantly surprised to see that the actor who played Light Yagami in Death Note, as well as the actor who played Ryuk, and probably a myriad of others which I did not notice, made their return in this. The Death Note dub was excellent, so I was kind of surprised that a lot of actors from it never seemed to show up in other anime productions. So the entire dub is fantastic from a vocal perspective, but of course, the main thing that draws attention is its use of language. There are so much F-bombs in this series. From a language perspective, there's so much swearing. But that just lends a kind of a sense of cool and a kind of sense of realism to this world that the characters live in. So I would highly recommend this dub. It's excellently done. And I'm kind of curious to see how Roberta's Blood Trail's dub is, because, you know, there was a significant gap in between the dubbing of Black Lagoon and the dubbing of Roberta's Blood Trail. So overall, do I recommend this series? I definitely do. It is an excellent series, let down a bit by its mediocre ending. And it's also let down by some issues that Kaze have had in their production of this Blu-ray. But besides that, the picture quality is excellent, the audio quality is excellent, the series itself is excellent, full of lots of awesome action. It's pretty much a no-brainer, in my opinion, to get. So, thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and bye-bye.